Student visa scandal. 47,000 international students missing from Canada's system. Welcome back to Canada Chronicles. Canada's international student system is facing one of its biggest scandals ever. Nearly 50,000 students who were supposed to be in classrooms have simply not shown up. We'll break down what this means for schools, housing, jobs, and the future of immigration policy. But that's not all. Toward the end of this video, we'll uncover a shocking angle that goes beyond Canada's borders. The cross-border connection. Are Canada's no-shows slipping into the U.S.? You won't want to miss that part, so stay tuned until the end to get the full picture. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest updates from Canada Chronicles. Let's get started. Canada's international student system, long seen as a global model, has been rocked by revelations that nearly 50,000 international students never arrived in classrooms despite holding valid study permits. These permits were issued by Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. But when schools submitted compliance reports in spring 2024, tens of thousands were flagged as no-shows. Out of 717,539 students tracked between March and April 2024, 49,676 failed to enroll at their designated institutions. That equals nearly 7 out of every 100 international students. To put it in perspective, imagine the entire student body of a large Canadian university disappearing overnight. This wasn't a clerical error. These figures came from compliance reports filed by designated learning institutions nationwide. The data revealed not only the scale, but also the nationalities most affected. India led with 19,582 no-shows, followed by China with 4,279, Nigeria with 3,902, and Ghana with 2,712. The problem extended across every continent, proving it was not isolated to one region. The shock was immediate. International students are not just learners. They bring billions in tuition, fill rental housing, and provide workers for industries such as healthcare, construction, food service, retail, and even agriculture. These sectors rely heavily on temporary foreign workers and eventually on graduates transitioning to permanent residency. Without this stream of labor, hospitals struggle to fill support roles, restaurants face staffing shortages, farms lose seasonal workers, and construction projects risk delays. When tens of thousands never show up, the ripple effects hit classrooms, job sites, and communities alike. The roots of the scandal. Several weaknesses made this possible. First, Canada does not always require full tuition up front. By contrast, countries like the United Kingdom and Australia demand large prepayments that deter unserious applicants. Canada's flexibility was attractive, but easy to exploit. Second, compliance reporting was slow. Until late 2024, institutions had 60 days to report whether a student had enrolled, far longer than the deadlines in other countries. This allowed delays and, in some cases, failures to report. Third, recruitment agents operated with little oversight. Many students from India, Nigeria, and the Philippines relied on these intermediaries. While some were reputable, others misled students with promises of guaranteed residency or placed them in weak private colleges for commissions. Finally, many applicants valued the work and immigration opportunities more than the studies themselves. A Canadian study permit opens access to part-time work during school and to the post-graduation work permit afterward. For some, this became the true incentive, with education only a formality. The real-world fallout. The nearly 50,000 no-shows are not just numbers. For schools, the losses are financial and reputational. International students often pay 3 to 4 times the domestic rate, making them vital to budgets. When they don't show up, institutions lose revenue and may face cuts or closures, particularly smaller colleges dependent on foreign enrollment. For genuine students, the scandal brought tougher requirements. Proof of funds rose from $20,635 to $22,895 starting September 2025, on top of tuition. Work rules also tightened. Since November 2024, students may only work 24 hours per week while classes are in session. Many legitimate students feel unfairly penalized. They already struggle with high rent, expensive groceries, and rising tuition fees. Now they face higher entry costs and tighter restrictions because of abuses they had nothing to do with. For those who came with dreams of studying, working part-time, and eventually building a future in Canada, The new barriers are discouraging and in some cases devastating. For communities, the controversy deepened resentment. International students are often accused of adding strain to housing markets in cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Halifax. With thousands unaccounted for, many believe some remain in Canada without fulfilling their academic obligations, competing for jobs and housing while driving costs higher. For Canada's immigration system, the credibility hit is severe. If authorities cannot track whether permit holders are studying, the entire framework looks weak. Critics argue that the student program has morphed into a backdoor migration channel rather than a genuine academic pathway. Canada's response in 2025. The federal government has moved to contain the damage. In 2025, Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada announced that only 437,000 study permits would be issued, a 10% cut from 2024. The goal is to ease housing demand and restore public trust. Compliance rules also tightened. Since November 2024, schools must report enrollment accurately or face suspension from the International Student Program. Recruitment agents are under scrutiny too. Ontario and British Columbia are considering licensing systems, while federal officials have signaled they will blacklist fraudulent agents. Finally, financial thresholds increased, and low-quality private colleges are being targeted, with Ottawa signaling a shift toward fewer but more serious students. Thanks for staying with us this far. We appreciate your time and hope you're finding this information valuable. The cross-border connection. Are Canada's no-shows slipping into the U.S.? The most explosive allegation is that some no-shows may not be in Canada at all. Instead, they may have used Canada as a gateway to the United States. Investigators in India are probing whether agents created pipelines that funneled students into Canada with the hidden goal of crossing into the U.S. later. Reports suggest some students entered Canada with valid permits, but skipped school and attempted to move south, either to seek asylum or reunite with family. There is no official Canadian data proving this, but individual cases have raised suspicions. Some flagged as non-enrolled in Canada were later found at U.S. schools. Border officials have also reported encounters with individuals carrying Canadian study permits who tried to cross illegally. If true, the scandal is no longer just about Canadian education. It becomes a North American security issue, with Canada inadvertently serving as a launchpad for unauthorized U.S. entry. The possibility that criminal networks are exploiting Canadian study permits only heightens the alarm. The path forward, solutions that could work. The crisis revealed deep cracks, but it also offers an opportunity for reform. Tuition prepayment or escrow accounts could ensure financial commitment before entry. Enrollment reporting should be shortened to 10 to 15 business days, with automatic penalties for non-compliant schools. Digital integration between arrivals, enrollment, and work permits would prevent gaps. Recruitment agents should face mandatory national regulation and licensing. Eligibility for post-graduation work permits should depend not only on program completion, but also on consistent academic participation. And finally, public reporting of enrollment data would create accountability and rebuild trust. At its heart, this scandal is about confidence. Canadians want assurance that study permits are for education, not shortcuts. Schools must prove accountability. Government must enforce its rules. The revelation of 47,000 no-shows shattered trust, but strong reforms can rebuild it, making the system credible, fair, and sustainable for students, institutions, and the country. Canada's student visa scandal isn't just about numbers on a report. It's about trust in the immigration system, fairness for genuine students, and the stability of communities across the country. The 47,000 no-shows expose cracks that Canada can no longer afford to ignore, and how the government responds now will shape the future of international education for years to come. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Canada Chronicles and turn on notifications so you'll always be the first to know when major updates break. And if you're still watching, thank you. Your support means so much. For more insights, check out our other videos on Canada's latest immigration rules and policies, linked right here on the screen. See you in the next video.